going on, everyone? Welcome to the Hyrule Gamer channel. You join me and the fellow cave boys. Say what's up, boys.
What's up?
Hello.
As enthusiastic as ever, you can see, we're excited to be here, and we're glad that you can join us. Today, we're going to be taking a look at some of your very spicy takes, aren't we, boys?
Of course. Very spicy. We like some spicy.
Okay, now you're just being purposefully... Be more interested, bitch. I can't say bitch. I'm sorry, I'll stop saying God... I'll bleep it in the edit. We're family friendly around here. So, we've asked you, Adam and Ed both asked you for your spicy takes about the Zelda franchise, and that's exactly what we're going to be taking a look at today. So, Ed, why don't you kick us off with our very first spicy take of the evening?
Fat Tony 401 says...
Fabulous name.
Brilliant.
Yeah, true. The open world setting is too overwhelming, and I would rather play a structured Zelda-style game.
I don't know.
There's just too much to do, and it's like this isn't a new open world is no new concept for gaming. It might be for Zelda. Actually, no, it's 6 years old for Zelda now.
Yeah, it's pretty cemented now.
It's pretty old.
It does tend to funnel you down a particular path should you want to play it in a linear style. It's like, put it this way, I appreciate what you're saying. I do, like, my favorite Zelda titles are more linear. You got to think though that a linear game can only be played in a linear manner. An open world game can be played in both an open world setting and linearly, should you want to.
All right, okay. I've got a very quick take on this one.
All right, go.
Okay.
I definitely get where they're coming from, and I understand where they come from, where they say they would rather play a structured Zelda-style game. I kind of get where they're coming from when they say it's too overwhelming. Like, you know, I got to the end of the game, Tears of the Kingdom, and I look at all the stuff I didn't do, like the 1,000 Koroks, and I'm like, I'm not going to do that. Whereas, you know, with other Zelda titles, it feels pretty easy to 100% them.
Yeah, I think we can say that Fat Tony is a story enjoyer. So he likes being taken along for the story, and like, you know, a bit of input, bit of puzzle solving here and there, but generally wants to be guided down the path that the creators want. And to be honest, I do like that is one thing that draws me to the linear style games, is that you experience it exactly the way.
It's an intended story. Yeah.
They've lovingly carved a path for you. Why not walk down that very path? But yeah, we appreciate that, Fat Tony.
Yeah, I think every opinion is appreciated and loved, unless you have a really shit opinion. Shout out to Fat Tony.
Shout out.
What we got next, Adam? Talk us through it.
We got a famous person for this one. Phil Zelda creator, NBC, Nintendo Black Crisis. He's
a bit underground.
Yeah.
Not too many people have heard of him in the Zelda community, but great. I mean, he makes solid videos.
Oh,
real
yeah.
solid
Video.
Okay, wait, hold on. I was being sarcastic about the first bit. I wasn't being sarcastic about the fact he makes good videos. He really does.
Yeah, no. He's a great guy, great creator. He said, and this is actually hot. Weapon durability really isn't that bad. Even in Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom does it better though. That is gonna draw some different opinions.
Yeah, I think it's a very subjective thing.
I kind of agree though. I kind of agree.
I 100% do agree, but the thing is, I don't understand it from someone else's perspective.
How did Tears of the Kingdom do it better though? Because
I think that's maybe referring to the fusing, maybe the fusability.
Yeah, but like the weapons still have the same durability.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't notice a huge difference in terms of how long they lasted. It just felt like it's a different way to get it out of your weapon. But no, personally, it's never really bothered me, the weapon durability. I'm gonna say here, I think people who really get annoyed at the weapon durability, particularly in Breath of the Wild,
they need to get good.
Yeah, they just need to get good. I think they need to get good.
Get good, gamers. I think the worst thing about weapon durability for me is I'm one of these people that like has to save the good items to a point, like, and I'll take them right to the end of the game, and then I never end up using them.
I hung a few on my wall inside the house in Breath of the Wild. That's what I did with a lot of them.
Yes.
But you can only do so many, so like then you've just got to pick the best of the best, and then your other best just sit in your inventory.
I feel like I end up using my better weapons way more than I ended up using, you know, like 50. You know, like royal broadswords in Breath of the Wild that were like 36 damage.
I think the actual weapon durability is, I'm almost certain it's identical, or it'll be a minutia of difference between the durabilities, because I certainly didn't notice. but I definitely used my good weapons more in this game.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think that the fusibility definitely did get players to use weapons more. So yeah, I think so. Yeah, actually, do you know what? I find myself agreeing with this. I've convinced myself into agreeing with
Nice.
with the take. Right, Eddie boy, what are we on to next, boy?
Well, now we have a message from Eden. Zelda devs need to start caring about the story. They're so good at environmental storytelling, it's a huge waste for them to retcon everything with every game. They don't need to go like super hardcore into lore and story, just a little bit of cohesion between games, please.
Interesting.
Do you know, I think that's, well, I mean, this is what I've been talking to you boys about over the last couple of weeks. My personal belief, and this is my personal belief, and I have no evidence to back this up whatsoever, but it is my personal belief that the next mainline Zelda game is going to be the start of a new timeline. And because I think the Zelda devs have realized that how much the Zelda community care about the story and want, like yourself, I think most people want a cohesive story running through the games. And I think that from the next game onwards, they're going to be focusing on the games kind of like how Marvel did with the MCU.
Yeah.
How it all kind of slowly merged together to one big story. I think that's what they're going to be starting with the next game. Just a theory.
A game theory.
Honestly, I'm kind of in the same boat with you, but more in the sense that I think it might have already started a little softly with Breath of the Wild.
Maybe.
I think the whole idea of just how far past the rest of the timeline those games take place, I think they've already softly started this like new era where they can have a lot more freedom without having to think about like, oh, does this affect the imprisoning more? Like, off. It's just like, I think they've already started making the space to allow them the space to just make a story however they want to make one and not have to worry about those things.
I think the Zelda team themselves are a bit tired of trying to retcon everything and like trying to make things work.
It's almost like a jigsaw.
Yeah, it took so much mental gymnastics to get that official timeline that even Zelda fans are like, yeah, I mean, it's official, but...
Yeah, official in quotation.
I think it was one of them. I can't... In fact, no, it was definitely Skyward Sword, I'm pretty sure, because everyone calls the last three the trilogy.
I got a fly in my room and I think I might have swallowed it.
With Skyward Sword, they wanted to make a timeline for the original games, lay that there, make it just be a thing for them. They'll change it a bit with the encyclopedia and stuff. And then for the next game, they want to do Breath of the Wild, where they start up a new timeline without explicitly saying it. And then Tears of the Kingdom is kind of like their step up from that. They're 100% realizing it. Going back to the original quote of they need to start caring about the story. Individual stories, they do.
You even follow it up by saying they're so good at environmental storytelling. That's still storytelling, and that means they care about the story. On to the next one. Yeah, thank you, Eden. We appreciate that.
If you guys like spicy food, this is spicy, right? So Mike the guy, has said, and particularly you, Johnny, I want you to brace yourself for this one. Ocarina of Time is kind of mid. Twilight Princess is the best game of the series.
Okay, no, you're doing a bit of an Andrew Tate here, where you say one kind of crazy thing and then follow it up with like a reasonable thing to make it all sound like it. It's like you can't just sneak Twilight Princess is good after that comment.
So he's pushed it a little bit. He's tried to distract the first sentence with the second sentence.
I see what you're doing.
Sneaky.
It's like I don't even agree with the second part. It's great. It is one of the best, undoubtedly. But like, you gotta follow it up with like at least one thing, one reason as to why you think it's mid. You can't just say it's to write off one of the highest rated games of all time is just by saying it's mid with no other reason is kind of. I mean, I can't even justify that with an answer, even though that's exactly what I'm doing right now. As an experience, you might find it mid, which is fair enough. But as a game, it's objectively not mid. It is, what that game did, not only for the Zelda franchise, not only for Nintendo, but for gaming as a whole. And it paved the way for what you've claimed to be the best game in the series.
Which leads me on to a perfect point. I think the notion of it being mid kind of comes from the fact that you believe that Twilight Princess is the best game in the series. Because I think...
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because Twilight Princess... For a lot of people, it would do, or for some people, it would do a lot of things better than Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, I'm part of that camp, personally.
But it might just have been taken to such an extreme where maybe the vibe of Twilight Princess hits with this person more than it does in Ocarina of Time. Because Twilight Princess's vibe is very it's pretty different compared to the rest of them in the series. It's epic, but it's still very dark.
Twilight Princess definitely has one of the strongest senses of personality.
Yeah,
it's very it knows itself.
But yeah, to call Ocarina of Time kind of mid.
We'd need a reason. I think that's the only problem with
it. Get back in touch.
We're doing
we need a follow-up essay, like a formal apology if possible.
Yes, please.
If you could give me your IMEI number and your social security number, that would be fabulous. I can't argue with it because I don't know why he thinks it's mid.
It's a certified hot take.
Yeah. I've got to thank Mike the guy for throwing in a bit of spice into the pot.
That will be a good contender for title in this video or something like that, you know?
We do appreciate this. Oh god, I've just seen the next one. I haven't read it, but it's long.
So this comes from Spencer.
Hello,
and this
Spencer.
is an audiobook, guys, so strap in.
It didn't all fit within the character limit, so here's this, I guess. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Well, thank you,
so he
Spencer,
knows it's long, that's fine.
Nintendo needs to stop abandoning ideas for the series and commit harder to them when it doesn't land the first time. I love all the 3D titles, but each one is almost reactionary to the previous one. People didn't vibe with Wind Waker at first, so we got Twilight Princess, which, I mean, I think he's talking about how it goes from very cartoonish to very realistic. Crossbow training flopped, so Twilight Princess didn't get a proper sequel, not just for that reason, I know. Skyward Sword didn't check all the boxes for a number of people, so they came up with Breath of the Wild. All great games, but they'll always feel disjointed when they carry on like that. There's nothing wrong with improving, but they have a tendency to completely 86 certain things instead of trying to make them better. Which is why I'm really liking Tears of the Kingdom, because it's got a set continuity and feels like the natural progression of the previous game rather than something completely and totally different. Tears of the Kingdom definitely does feel like a continuation in some areas, but it also really doesn't in some areas too.
It's like a disconnected sequel in a sense. Like, there's a lot of parts that are iffy.
I love the story more than most people, but it doesn't connect back to Breath of the Wild at all. Like, there are certain sections, like, the school and other areas where, like, it's, like, the calamities vaguely mentioned, or maybe the champions. Like, there's locations.
You could probably play that game fully, and if you didn't know Breath of the Wild existed, you might never even think about the fact that that game could exist.
It's done something, it's evolved, that's it, it's evolved.
Yeah.
The team's evolved with each game, because they do listen to feedback, it's just how much they listen to the feedback. Because Skyward Sword is an insane example of that, where it goes from one end of the spectrum to the other.
What's the TLDR then? Is it like... Cause I'm sorry, I've got the brain of a 3-year-old. I really...
Basically, Nintendo needs to stop abandoning the ideas. So, like, with Skyward Sword...
abandoning ideas. Oh, okay.
So, like, if they'd have kept going harder and harder into the linear formula after Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, instead of doing a 180.
Right, okay.
Or like, for Wind Waker and then Twilight Princess, you'd have another cartoony game after that.
But then what's the convex of that? Is that, like... Would you want them to not listen?
I feel like that kills their innovation, to be honest, if they did that.
They're doing the same thing. Like, the thing is, you're assuming that these ideas come from reactions from the fans. They might not be listening to the fans at all, and this might be coming from reactions from people within Nintendo.
Yeah.
This is just assuming that they do listen to the fans. They might not. you never know.
Yeah, they might hate us.
Well, no. I mean, Japanese businesses are incredibly archaic in certain ways when it comes to the way they operate. Honestly, if it came out that the Zelda team had never listened to anything anyone had said on YouTube about Zelda, I'd believe them.
Bro, these guys make videos about our games?
Yeah.
Who would have known?
It's like, okay, the Nintendo would be like, hang on, hold my beer, let me just go strike a million videos.
Oh, no.
Shout out to you, Spencer. We appreciate that. The next one's nice and concise, isn't it?
Yeah, the next few are, actually.
RV has said, just straight up, the depths suck.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna lie, I've got some thoughts about this. But
you got some spice takes here.
Do you boys mind if I take the floor?
We'll let you cook real quick.
The depths suck is an interesting take, because on one hand I completely agree, on the other hand I really want to disagree. I hype the depths up so much, being a cave boy, obviously.
Oh, of course.
Underground exploration made me very hard. It made me
But
very.
yeah, I mean, we're both Skyrim fans.
Yeah.
We love.
Oh, a bit of
we love
Blackreach. Yeah, I was hoping for
Yeah, a
something
bit of
like
Blackreach.
Blackreach, and it both is and isn't like that. The main issue I see people say with the depths is it's a whole lot, but a whole lot of nothing. And to a degree,
It's like a Ubisoft open world.
Yeah,
I do agree. I do agree with that.
I agree. I don't want to agree, but I agree. It's still really cool. It's really fun, but they are pretty empty.
The depths do suck.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, the problems with them is, like, you know, the mines are pretty much copy and paste. The factories are pretty much copy and paste.
True, I don't really thought about that, yeah.
Yeah, but...
Apart from the giant statue.
Yeah.
They are literally just copy and pasted assets, yeah.
And then it's like the Yiga stuff, there's like 30 something of those. Some down there, it's copy and paste. Which I guess is a lot of stuff in the overworld, but still. There's not like a village down there or anything. But the one thing that the Depths has going for it is like an actual gameplay loop. It's odd, but you go down there so you can go and get more batteries.
I'll tell you what, I don't know if this counts as the Depths, but I do have major beef with a particular aspect of the game. And it's such a minor thing, like a lot of people won't probably even care about it, but so in the sky, you have old maps that lead you to chests in the Depths. If you find a chest in the Depths before finding the map, when you find the map, rather than something in the game then remapping that map to a different object, it just tells you, it's like, oh, congratulations for finding the map, it's useless, you've already found it, sorry. What it should have done is, it should have, when you open that, if you'd already found the chest that was mapped to that, the map that was mapped to that chest, it should just cycle and find a different item for you to find, so it'll send you back down to the Depths. And I don't know if that counts as the Depths. It kind of does. But wow, I mean,
I'd say it counts indirectly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what? So we so far we've pretty much agreed with the hot takes.
Yeah. I mean, the Depths do kind of.
I don't know about suck.
They have purpose and they have a vision, but it's not as. I don't know. It's not perfect.
I think they suck more and more over time. Yeah, exactly.
There's a sharp spike right at the start. I remember the first time I went down to the Depths properly is obviously the center of Hyrule. That's with the story. But the first thing I ever did in the Depths was the Temple of Time statue quest. And that was I basically I started the Depths with probably what is the best side quest in the Depths.
Yeah.
So it was always going to be kind of downhill.
Yeah, it was all down.
So initially it was fantastic, but it does quickly become quite tired.
Yeah.
I will agree.
Yeah.
Depths
suck. I don't know, but tired maybe.
Andrew Willis says, we've got a few here, okay?
Okay.
Ooh,
oh, no, I've just seen them. Oh, no.
Okay, so, Link's Awakening is better than A Link to the Past. Twilight Princess is better than Wind Waker. Skyward Sword is better than Ocarina of Time. Let's assume this is a Link's Awakening remake, enjoyer.
Okay.
Okay.
Should we dissect this one by one here?
Let's do one by one with the least to the most, so yeah, pretty much top to bottom.
We're comparing A Link to the Past to the Link's Awakening remake, essentially.
Yes, we're gonna do the remake just because it's the newer one, and
I'm not gonna lie, even the remake doesn't stand ground against A Link to the Past. Not a chance.
Oh, thank you.
Not a chance.
We have based people in the cave.
Nah, A Link to the Past is so good.
A Link to the Past, it might not be your favorite Zelda game, but it is technically one of the best Zelda games there is. Period.
It's so solid.
3D audio.
Hey, you guys are wrong.
I can't. Whoa.
Nah.
I like A Link to the Past. I 100% think that it was revolutionary for the series, but I think Link's Awakening's world resonates with me a hell of a lot more.
Okay.
There's the whole, I don't know, it's all freakish and weird, but it's very vibey.
What about the Dark World though?
Yeah, the Dark World again.
What about turning into a rabbit?
You got elephant aliens?
I mean, you're right.
Kinda wild.
You're right. It's kind of wild, but the thing is, it's not. It's wild by design almost. Whereas Link's Awakening, it's supposed to be, you know, until at the end of the game, it's supposed to be real life to you.
Spoilers.
Odd and weird until you get to a certain point and everything hits. And that's why I think the story is slightly better. A Link to the Past story is cool. A Link to
the Past, I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't really have too much of a story. You got an uncle, he dies. I mean, that's kind of Link to the Past.
There are some dungeons in Link's Awakening that I much prefer over Link to the Past after a replay. Whereas,
Do you think, Ed? Do you think
Yeah.
maybe it's more of a generational thing?
it could be.
So it's like, obviously, you know, I grew up in the early 2000s. You grew up more in the late 2000s.
Yep.
I did grow up playing A Link to the Past. I didn't grow up playing Link's Awakening, so maybe I've got a bit of nostalgia bias. I don't think I'm wrong when I say that A Link to the Past is objectively, technically, a better game than Link's Awakening. But how you vibe with it is completely subjective.
Anyway, next one. God, we spent way
Yeah,
too
we
long
can move on from that one. That one's just cap.
Twilight Princess, Wind Waker. I mean, I agree.
I agree. I agree.
Johnny's gonna have some opinions, which. Go ahead.
Twilight Princess is technically, overall, a better game and a more solid Zelda experience, and would be. Yeah, I do think so.
Based.
The open world of Wind Waker is very cool. It's much better than Twilight Princess.
Do you know what I'll say? Do you know what I will say?
Yeah.
For me, at least, I think that these two are two of the hardest to decide which is better.
Yeah.
And put it like, and you know, and Wind Waker is my favorite. You know, it does ebb and flow a little, but Wind Waker is generally has been for the longest time my favorite.
Yeah.
But they both have. I think they both have the best soundtracks.
True.
They both have the strongest sense of identity. They both have super unique, very focused art styles.
Yeah.
They're very comparable in ways that you might see them as complete opposites. The fact that they're opposites makes them incredibly similar, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
Because they represent different ends of the spectrum of the same things, though.
Even when it comes to like companions and stuff as well.
The King of Red Lion's story arc is very similar to Midna's.
Yeah, true.
Like, this is the thing. A lot of people think these two games are opposites, and they are in many ways. But I think these two are weirdly closer linked than people think they are. Moving on, boys. Are we moving on to the next one, or do we?
Yeah, I think
Go
we're
ahead, Adam.
we're
Actually, Adam, I want to know your take on this one.
on the
Breath of the Wild being better than Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, well, this is a big claim, and it's came in from Kev R.A.
Kev R.A., I think, yeah.
It's tough. It's that thing that we've talked about before of like, Tears of the Kingdom doesn't exist in the way it does without Breath of the Wild. Like for like, I don't think Breath of the Wild's anywhere close to how good Tears of the Kingdom is. Like, Breath of the Wild was revolutionary in its own respect. Tears of the Kingdom built on that, and I think just naturally it's better.
But again, I'd say that that's more of a quick take or an opinion. It's hard to call that a spicy or a hot take because there's no justification. That's a very easy statement to make. Like, the spice comes from why you think those things, not what you think. So yeah, we appreciate that, Kev.
Right. Next one. Unkeenly _ Zeus. Traditional dungeons are overrated.
This guy's overrated. This person here, they're overrated.
No, do you know what? This is my initial reaction to this. This is a person whose first Zelda game was Breath of the Wild, and they've not yet played a different 3D Zelda game.
That very well could be the case.
Hear me out. Devil's advocate.
Okay, yeah, I'm loving it.
I can kind of understand, because dungeons are being held, especially recently, the past few years, in insanely high regard.
Yeah.
To the point where it's actually kind of crazy. If someone want to call like Inside the Deku Tree better than most of the dungeons in Tears of the Kingdom. It's to a point I think a lot of people are being very close-minded about different designs of dungeons, but then at the same time, they need to make a different layout to a dungeon that isn't go to the 4 things, go to the 5 things.
To be fair, we like also we've got to remember that overrated doesn't mean bad.
Yeah,
it just means that
yeah.
people hire to typically hold it at a higher regard than is possibly warranted. Yeah, thank you, Devil's Advocate. I like that. I will agree that with the sentiment that particularly in recent years they've been held in a much higher regard than maybe is called for. That comes as a reaction to a lack of traditional dungeons.
Yeah,
and I think it's like that's like. You don't know what you've got till it's gone. And then when you remove traditional dungeons, that's when people start really picking at their brains at why they like those things. So I think that's why you're seeing a bigger influx of praise for dungeons.
I think they are very slightly overrated right now. Over time, it will probably increase. And then when the next game comes out, hopefully it decreases again if the dungeons are good. It's kind of the Zelda team's fault. Is my
Yeah,
point.
that's fair.
I tell you what though, just my final point is, I agree that the Zelda community overhype dungeons, but I like what came from it. We got some really great videos as a reaction to this kind of thing. So where I agree, but I don't dislike that they are.
It's made people really look into the design of dungeons.
Yeah,
And like real level design, which is really interesting, which is I think why we've seen a bit of an uptick in people who really enjoy Skyward Sword, because that game is basically just dungeons. Even the linear sections, they are just dungeons, especially like Elden. It's just dungeons everywhere.
So yeah, we appreciate that, Zeus. Thank you very much. Moving on to, is this the final?
This
final thing?
is the finale from Bilsu.
No, wait. Spoiler warning.
TOTK spoiler warning.
Yes, dude. Finish Tears of the Kingdom before watching this bit.
This is bold, right? Let's everyone just get ready, right? Zelda should have stayed a dragon and became an actual legend for eternity. Tears of the Kingdom's story was way too cookie cutter when it was set up to be special. What are we saying to that? That is interesting.
So Bilsu is an artist.
Hey,
He's an artist on YouTube.
nice.
Absolutely unreal artist. He makes insane like crossover art. Shout out to you, Bilsu. Appreciate it.
I'll have to check
hopped
that
on
out
this.
after.
I love the Pokemon crossovers he does. So...
Oh, is it that guy? Okay.
Yeah,
No, I did know that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's great. I like this take. I like this take because although this is spoiler warning. Although I like that she was saved with the power of love and became Zelda again. Very PogChamp. They made such a big deal about the fact that once you become a dragon, that is it.
Yeah.
And then the one person we see become a dragon, it's like, okay, apart from Ganon, again, spoiler warning. But the one person we see that becomes a dragon isn't a dragon for eternity. But playing devil's advocate though, if Zelda can become human again, who are the other dragons?
Yes, I've been dying to
Are
talk
they
about that
people?
at some
Were they
point.
born as dragons?
Oh, they had to be people.
Who are they? So like it might where I do agree that I think they should have just gone hard with it and said no, like Zelda's rip, she's a dragon now. Like I think it does open the door for cool ideas though.
A little DLC pack maybe. You never know.
Well, that's it. The DLC is hopefully going to really shake things up.
Yeah, I hope it will add a lot to the new lore they've set down.
I know a lot of Zelda fans and a lot of Zelda creators didn't like how much Tears of the Kingdom shook up like the sandbox. I'm a big fan of it.
I'm a big fan of it as well. I like that they done that.
Yeah.
That first sentence, Zelda should have stayed a dragon and became an actual legend for eternity. Yes, 100% agree with that. 100%. The story being cookie cutter, maybe not so much.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. Yeah, I don't think I agree with that either.
Yeah, I can see why they think that, but at least my view on that is I feel like they are still figuring out what works best for formatting it in terms of like how this whole story is laid out.
Tears of the Kingdom has to be cookie cutter to a certain degree. That's what open world does to a story, because once if you've got a completely linear story, you can then craft the story behind that much more. When you go open world, all of a sudden, making an incredibly defined story work over an open world game like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom rather, particularly when you've got the Dragon's Tears, breaking up the story, you have to go cookie cutter to a certain degree. So open world certainly opens the experience for the player, but it closes the experience for the story, and that is just a trade-off.
Yeah.
But the thing that I will say one thing. I kind of get where they're coming from when they say it was set up to be something special.
Oh, true.
Because I think,
100%.
in trailers and stuff, we've talked about this before, but like, there was hints that maybe something would happen to King Dorothan.
Yeah, and he's just like, he fancies sleeping behind a waterfall for
Retirement
a bit.
time, baby.
It was retirement. Yeah,
Yeah,
fair play to the fella.
instead of dying in battle and going to fish Valhalla, he's just a geriatric fish
Have
sat
it,
behind
son.
a waterfall. I think that's pretty good. Okay, yeah. Once again, really appreciate you for joining us on this video. If you liked it and you want to see more, like I say, let us know down in the comments, and we'd be. What about you boys? I'd be happy to do another one.
I'd be happy.
You guys are alright.
we have other stuff planned too.
Anyway, yes, we appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you in the next one. Cave Boys, out.
Out.